Hello, travel friends and family. I'd like to show you a technique I like to use for finding flights and tracking those prices. It can be really intimidating when you're trying to fly somewhere and you start looking at the prices and they're just all over the place. What's a good price? What's a bad price? When's the best time to travel? All of these things can make the booking process very frustrating. Personally, I like to use Google Flights, though it's one of many tools available. So if you go to google.com and then you type /flights, it'll take you right to the flight search. You can also type travel.google.com into a browser and it'll get you to a page like this. Now, if you use other tools such as Kayak, Travelocity, and so on and so forth, those are perfectly fine. They'll usually search the same data. These are often provided by the airlines. I just tend to prefer Google because I can track the prices and see trends over time. Now, here's the deal. Say I want to book a flight from my hometown, Magnolia, to San Diego in the month of May. I would use the search as such. Let's say I'm going to travel with a family of 5, so 3 adults, that one teenager now counts as an adult, and 2 children between age 2 and 11. And I'm going to fly to the city of San Diego. Now, you can either search by the name. Now, I've got it in my history already, or you can search by the airport code. I happen to know San Diego is SAN, but if I didn't know that, I could just start typing San Diego, and it will actually suggest the city and the closest airport. Same deal. I am from Magnolia. Magnolia's in the middle of nowhere, and kind of the closest airports usually include Akron, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Columbus. Let's see what Google Flights gives us here. It suggests Akron-Canton, CAK, as the closest airport. Now, don't restrict yourself to just the closest airport. Now, that's more convenient for travel and to and from the airport and parking. You often won't get the best price on a municipal airport like Canton-Akron. Cleveland might be a better price. Drive another 28 miles or so from that location. So you just click this little plus, and now you can add Cleveland Airport. And I think just for fun, I'm going to add the other 2 airports. I know Pittsburgh is PIT, and I know Columbus is CHM. No, CMH. There it is. John Glenn International Airport. Often a hidden gem. All right. Technically, I can do the same thing on this one as well. Well, I've selected San Diego as kind of the ideal. That's the place I want to go to. I can actually get close to San Diego if I rent a car or other conveyance by flying into John Wayne. So SNA, that's in Orange County. I could also fly into Ontario International Airport in Ontario, California. A lot of people don't know about that one. I don't know if I'd recommend flying into LAX. You'll probably get the cheapest flight ever from LAX and likely a direct flight, but traveling out of LAX, the traffic and it's one of the scariest airports to travel from, unless you know some of the local secrets like using the metro or using the bus system to get to Union Station or other places. So we'll try these 3 airports and see what we get. All right, so I got my family of 5, economy seats. Akron-Canton is the ideal, but we'll see what the other ones price out as well. I'm going to travel during the month of May. So when you click on the calendar icon here, it will pop up and it'll start giving you price previews. And I want to point something out. When you book your flight, can be rather interesting. A lot of people think as far out as possible. Now, you can book up to, I think, 11 months in advance with this kind of engine. Honestly, you don't always get the best price 11 months in advance. Prices are always fluctuating. But you do get yourself in trouble when you start waiting about 2 or 3 weeks out. So notice if I were to try to fly tomorrow or today, I'm seeing like $3,000, $4,000 for this family of 5. Whereas when I look a few weeks out, notice the prices start coming more in line, and even more about 2 months out. Look at that. I'm starting to see some really amazing prices. So I always feel like the sweet spot is about 90 days before I want to fly, and then up to 21 days. 21 days is my cutoff where the prices just absolutely go out of sight. So I usually like searching in that range. It varies though. Sometimes you look 6 months out, find a great price, and there you go. This is just giving me kind of an idea of what the price ranges are. So I know kind of my goal is to try to find one of these $600 some flights. Now careful, the flight Google's giving you here may not be the most ideal flight. It might be 23 hours, extra bag fees. So while you save a lot of money on the initial flight, they kill you in fees. So I'd focus more on your schedule first and see what shows up. Let's say this family of 5 wants to travel from Saturday, May 6th and then return home the following Saturday, May 13th. Now, which day should you fly? That's really up to you. I will say, as a former business traveler, some of the worst days of travel for me were always Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, because that's always when business travelers like myself were going to the job site or returning from the job site. And this includes sales professionals as well. None of us ever really traveled on Saturdays. It was kind of rare to travel on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So these are often what I search for. But depending on the location, if there's a holiday or other things, it can change. So let's just say Saturday to Saturday, a 1 week trip. Let's click done. All right, so it does the search and it's finding a few results for me. An airline called Breeze I've never heard of before, nonstop from Columbus, Ohio. Fantastic. That might be actually something really interesting to look at. Now, personally, I tend to stick with the big three, American, United, and Delta, and I see American popping up here, but notice how the price goes up just a little bit. Now, I say a little bit. Remember, this is the price on Google. It doesn't do it like most airlines where it's like price per person. No, this is the price for the entire family of 5. Now, I don't intend to buy this today, so what I like to do is I like to turn on the track, and it's give me a suggestion. Hey, if you fly into LAX for $682, you can do it even cheaper. I have to ask myself, is it worth $300 to go through the nightmare that is the LAX traffic system? For me, no, I wouldn't. You couldn't pay me $300 to deal with that. Maybe $500 savings, $1,000 savings. Yeah, I do start seriously looking at LAX, but not always. All right, so I see the flights popping up. I'm just going to go ahead and track these flights by clicking this little slider to the left. This will now give me emails whenever the price goes up or it goes down. And I like to just keep an eye on this. It's nice because it gives me a reminder every once in a while, hey, there's that trip you wanted to do. Now, if you ever want to see which flights you're tracking, just go to flights.google.com or travel.google.com, and it'll start keeping your tracked information. These are a couple trips I was trying to do. It keeps your last search if you go back to flights, but it'll keep your tracked prices right below the general search dialog. So again, how did we get here? Google.com/flights or travel.google.com. So here's all my tracked prices, and I can click view all and kind of see how prices are changing and going. Now, the price tracker starts on the day you created it. So I created a tracker today for flying from California to New York first, just to start tracking a possible spring trip to New York City. Over time, you'll get much better data. So for example, I started about 68 or 69 days ago tracking a flight from California to visit my family in Ohio during the last weekend in September. The Atwood Lake Fall Festival would be fun to visit. And I am just absolutely thrilled that it's gotten down for 4 people to $874 versus the 1,400, nearly 1375 it was when I started looking at this about 70 days ago. Now, this is still pretty far out, but I think this price is pretty darn awesome. So this is one I actually would probably pull the trigger on today. Now, looking in the future, I'm looking at some international flights. Hey, how about premium economy for 2 people to Tokyo? This is actually pretty decent, but it has been going up steadily over the last 60 days. So I don't know if it's really the greatest price. And I still have until probably about August and July and August before I really need to start considering a flight for this time range. Just for fun, I also looked at 2 business class seats, and that is just flat out, but it's fun to watch just to see how it's trending. Here's another one, Cleveland to Columbus. I've also been tracking for business class for 1 passenger for some Christmas travel because I have a buy one, get one free, and it has been dropping. So I might go with this one pretty soon as well. So there you go. If these start getting annoying, you're saying, okay, that's a trip I'm not going to do. You can always go over here and click this little delete icon to get rid of it. So in summary, you want to find a great rate for a flight. Try out the Google search flight tool. Again, you just go travel.google.com. I'll try that one. Or flights.google.com. You just do flights.google.com. And it'll give you this search, which you can do all kinds of options for filtering and searching. Set dates. I recommend trying multiple airports, trying different date ranges. And again, it'll give you a little preview of the price ranges depending on the location that you choose. So there you go. Google Flights and finding cheaper flights to the places you want to go.